Hello there, I'm Andrew Compton from CarrCom Films, and joining me today is...
Nathan Carr, the other half of CarrCom Films.
And we're doing the highly anticipated director's commentary of The Attic, which we uploaded June this year. We've been working on it since September, and the scene here was shot in October 2011.
In my bedroom.
Yeah. We originally, we said this, I wrote some articles on my blog about making of it, and we did this scene with another friend of mine, and that was in January 2011, but then we sort of lost interest in this project, and I deleted that. I'm not going to blame both of us. But then, then we just redid it, eventually when I guess I had better ideas for the script of The Attic, because originally this story just wasn't very good.
No, bore little resemblance to what we have now.
Yeah, it was really just what 5 was, essentially. It was just the main character running around his house, loads of noises, loads of screaming, just nothing scary, but pretending to be scary. So it's like, oh, look at this is scary, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I genuinely think this scene is pretty creepy, though.
It's very sudden. It gets you. You're not expecting it, I don't think.
Yeah, well, I guess you kind of are with the music and him walking towards it, but it still catches you off guard because, as like you said, you don't expect it because you expect him to open the door.
Yeah.
And obviously he reaches for it here and it just launches open. Blimey, that is loud.
That is very loud.
Yeah, originally, most people who saw the opening we put on Facebook and YouTube, that ended with the door closing and the attic coming up there. But eventually I had the idea of the train going past, which was, there was just mainly derived from the fact that we got the train to college a lot. So, I thought making use of our rail cards would, I guess, allow us to film in more diverse locations rather than just 2 houses.
It did feel quite adventurous. We spent a couple of weekends catching the train between Southampton and Brockenhurst.
I think
filming.
Yeah, and it's really natural as well. It doesn't just feel like he's saying, you know what, I'm just going to get on a train and go here. Yeah, he's literally doing what we do in real life. He's going to college. Yeah. And it feels really believable. Yeah. It's not just shoehorning in a bunch of trains just because they're there.
Yeah, it's sort of a natural extension.
Yeah.
Of what he does in real life. Yeah.
And there's the title there. I was actually struggling to find a place to put the title of actually, but I thought that would just. It doesn't have to be a creepy background as long as it just sort of comes up at the right moment, I guess.
Yeah.
This was one of the first scenes we did. This was back in, I remember the date actually, it was 5th of February, 2012. 5th or the 4th, one of those two. So this wasn't, it's always been fun filming it, but I guess this is one of the scenes that sort of wasn't as brilliant to film, I guess, because not a lot happens.
Yeah, it's pretty standard, just, following around the house.
I mean, it's not boring to watch because it's only a few minutes and it fits in nicely, yeah, and it is natural, a build-up, but the really scary bits are the ones that you have a lot of fun filming.
Yeah. And we've had some great fun filming the match scenes.
Yeah, that bit was just...
We'll
obviously get
stuff.
to that more when it actually comes up, but that was just brilliant. See, this was filmed in February when it was actually cold, so wearing that coat was pretty good. But then when filming sort of poured over into May, and it was boiling hot, wearing that coat was absolutely horrible.
Yeah. And then I was so worried that the makeup would run in the heat as well.
Oh, yeah.
Walking around from that. Got some funny looks walking through.
Yeah, we did.
Down the high street.
This is my brother's voice talking down the phone. This scene actually, for those of you who've seen the outtakes reel we uploaded in July, this scene took a lot of effort because I forgot my lines and laughed quite a lot. But also the timing is very difficult because Matthew's lines were dubbed over. He recorded them later, and I edited them to sound like a phone. So obviously it had to sound natural. If there was like Matthew saying blah blah blah, and then there was like a 2-second gap, and then I replied.
Yeah.
It had to be instant, so the timing was really hard. But I think it came out really well.
Oh yeah, it does sound convincing and everything.
This was the scene we had quite a bit of fun filming though, because even though it's a bit slow paced and it's creepy, yeah, and it's slow paced in a good way, I think it was just quite fun filming it because it was very atmospheric.
Yeah. And also, it's the first, we're going back to the house that's in the opening, so the audience are going to recognise the hallway.
Yeah.
And, they know something that
exactly.
Joseph doesn't.
And that's quite a cruel irony, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, originally we were going to have a shot here of him, of you actually seeing his eyes through the post box. But, yeah, it came out looking utterly terrible.
Mainly because the post box has got the materially bit that the post slides through. Yeah. So that made it quite difficult.
That clip there we just saw of the car go past and hearing the door open, actually none of that was natural audio, that was all dubbed, because when the car went past, we stopped filming before it had fully left the view. So in the next clip it cut out completely. So that sound of a car passing was actually completely dubbed. David? I actually found it in the stock sound effects you get with like iLife on the Mac. And it fit really well. Literally, it was timed perfectly with the car passing. So I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah, I think most characters in our film spend a lot of their time opening and closing that door.
Yeah.
Because it keeps the cats and dogs out of the other half of the house. Yeah. So, we kind of have to open and close it.
Yeah. Like, later on in the scene where he flees the house when the ghost appears, he walks out and he shuts it behind him.
He takes the time to shut it behind him.
And if you were panicking, running, you would not. But obviously, if Nathan's dog started charging through, following him, that would ruin it entirely.
Yeah.
So.
It would kind of kill the mood a little bit.
I think that's quite impressive, though, how he did this. Because there were some moments where we were shooting this, and your parents and all your pets were in the house. And you still get the idea that it's an empty house, yeah?
Yeah.
Despite them being...
I think it works quite well. All we did was shut some doors and ask people to be quiet.
And you really get the idea that there's no one in this house.
Yeah.
It's quite funny though. I've always been amused by that bit. He's like exploring the room like he's never been there before. But if he was David's best mate, you'd think...
Yeah, he might have spent some time there, yeah.
Yeah, so he'd be like, oh, where's David gone? Instead of like, oh, wow, what's this?
We had a lot of trouble with that. The necklace, losing that, disappearing into pockets.
And at one point, later on in the film, you'll see... Actually, just wait for the jump scare. That's pretty loud. But yeah, later on you see a different necklace, the counterfeit. And I'll explain this in the making of blogs as well. That was actually intended to be a replacement for the real one, because we lost it. But in the end, we found the real one. And then also couldn't print the photo of David that was intended to be in one scene. Which, if you read the articles, you'll find out more. We had this photo of David he finds. We couldn't print it due to a lack of ink. So we ended up having both necklaces by coincidence. Just thought, you know what, let's just make it a counterfeit. So that was quite a weird stroke of luck.
Yeah, it tied in quite well though, I think. It's a nice plot device.
I like that bit as well. We learned that when we saw The Woman in Black in January 2011 on a school trip. The guy was teaching us about horror techniques, and he was on about where you make it seem like something's going to happen based on previous occurrences, and nothing does. So obviously, based on the opening scene, everyone's going to think that the ghost will attack him when he opens the door, and there's just nothing there.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the best technique.
It's just as effective as actual scares.
Yeah, and if you pace it properly, like maybe you have 2 moments where it does happen, 3 where it doesn't, then 1 where it does. Where it's so uneven, the audience just has no idea when it will happen again. So like they have absolutely no idea
what to expect.
And it's just going to catch them off guard at any minute. Yeah, this scene... Nathan caught a train to Brockenhurst first, and I followed on. So a lot of people question me about this. Like my teachers were saying how good it was, and a lot of my friends were asking, did we get like special permission? And it was actually just really easy. Yeah. I went to the station, set it up, and filmed. No one cares.
I mean, I got a couple of funny looks, but apart from that, all I did was set up the tripod on the platform and wait for the train.
Exactly. Where there's a local college that sort of specialises in media, everyone just thinks you're doing a college project, so you can get away with it quite easily. Yeah, this is the footbridge near our college, which I thought... It's quite a good place to film because it's very, very quiet here, and especially we came here on a Sunday, I think.
So I think it was a Sunday.
Yeah, it was absolutely deserted, so obviously. And this footbridge alone, even on weekdays and college time, is completely deserted.
It is quite out of the way though, isn't it?
Yeah. So... Yeah, all the audio ringtones, the ringtones of the phone, they're all dubbed in because originally we had like the interference and the ringtone just sounded horrible on the camera. It was really loud and sharp.
David, it's me, Joe.
Yeah, a lot of people question me about that as well. I didn't actually drop my phone and let it smash. I basically, when he drops it the first shot, Nathan's bag was there and I threw it onto that. So obviously it had some cushioning. And in the next one, I took it apart. Literally, Nathan put the camera on the floor and I dropped it from just above. So it hits the ground and obviously it splits into the three parts, but it looks like it's breaking.
Yeah, anyone that's seen the blooper reel will know we had quite a lot of fun trying to get that.
That was quite
bouncing off camera
and my phone's actually right here with me, so it's not destroyed. It's one of those old it's very. I know a lot of people say BlackBerries are crap, but it's a very durable phone.
Yeah, it's passed the concrete test. Yeah,
and we can never film here again now without people laughing because that bit of wall Joseph just passed. Someone has now graffitied on it saying donkey dick. So I can never film there again now because there's so much graphic graffiti there. Yeah, we actually shot this scene the same day. We didn't plan to, but my mum would have been able to drop Nathan home in the evening later, so we just thought, fuck it, might as well film. No, I know. Also, my mum and dad went out that evening, so we thought, our house is empty, we might as well just film another scene, yeah?
Yeah.
And this was like the start of the really creepy scenes. This one was really good. And this upcoming... Oh yeah, a little reference there for those who haven't seen it. What Joseph was looking at on his computer was actually the CarrCom Films channel. And the map of 5 was playing. That was unintentional though. We just sort of load up the computer and scroll at something. And that was what I had open. That was awesome filming that bit.
That was a lot of fun.
But it was a lot of work as well. Literally opening, closing the attic, lowering the ladder, filling up the box, emptying the box, crashing it down.
Yeah.
And that bit's really creepy.
It is. That was our sort of first test of the ghost.
I think it works really well. The fragmentation, that you don't see it up close until the very end.
Yeah, you see the movement. And just,
it's
up until then it could have been just another shadow. And then it moves and you're just like...
Oh, what was that?
Yeah.
And then there's that sort of, like you said once, that uncertainty if it's actually there in the act. Like you think, oh, what's that? And then it moves. You're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What is that? And I think you also get the definite belief now that there is something supernatural going on because there's no one in his attic, yeah?
Yeah.
No one would have got in there and
there's not another way in unless, you want to come in through the window.
Yeah. I'm also wondering how many people confuse this. I've always wondered how many people thought when he woke up that he was dreaming. No one has actually said that to me, that he was, but I was wondering that. Because when he wakes up there, you might think, oh, he was just having a dream, yeah? But no, that's obviously him waking up the next morning.
Yeah.
It was quite difficult shooting this without looking like a quote-unquote badder man. Like without me grabbing a knife and going, right, I'm going to bust him up now. But actually looking terrified and thinking, oh God, I need a weapon, yeah?
Yeah, it does capture that sort of panicky...
Yeah, and also you think, oh, bad man, he's got a knife. You would, yeah? You would go up with some sort of weapon.
You would find some sort of defence.
And also him I had a hammer and it just looked weird. It looked like he was going to go up and like repair his model railway or something. Yeah. Which is obviously those bits of wood supported around the room. There's actually a model railway on there. But we didn't show it because it's not relevant. Boom.
Yeah, quite handy having the attic up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't really go too mad there with trying to break the door down because obviously it was a public place and there was a lot of people around.
I'm sure my mum wouldn't have appreciated you knocking down our front door.
And if I actually did break the lock, then I'd be in serious trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where we start using music from The Woman in Black. I think it works really well. I actually like the soundtrack of that film.
It does its job quite well.
I had a feeling some people would get confused here as to why he's gone in, thrown the necklace, and then obviously taken it back. But no one did. No one questioned me about it. And obviously the thing is, he's trying to return it.
Yeah.
But he can't bring himself to do it because obviously he's fallen victim to that addiction it has.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it's quite straightforward. That's the beauty of it. There's nothing, the storyline, there's nothing in it that people won't be able to work out.
Yeah. That bit. What I really like is it makes a lot of people jump.
Yeah.
Is that it's not an immediate jump scare. Like you see it for half a second.
Yeah.
and you think, right, I need maybe a second to react to that, but it doesn't give you that. It literally shows you it and then does that really loud noise as it runs off, and you're like, fucking hell, yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't give you time to register anything.
Yeah. And then all the doors shutting, that was really cool. Yeah, some people thought that would have been difficult as well, but it wasn't. It was just individual shots. Nathan goes behind the door, he shuts it, and just cut them all together, and it looks fine. See, obviously this is a bit... We did a lot of different takes of that shot because my double chin kept showing and I just wasn't impressed by it. I was like, oh fuck no, I look so fat.
Yeah. Shutting the door.
Yeah, just so the dogs don't run out.
Yeah. But leave the back door open, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, originally this shot here as well was going to be showing the ghost from like vaguely from outside, but the light reflection.
Was it the glare? Yeah.
Yeah, you just couldn't see anything. So this works really well though, because you don't see it, but you get Joseph has looked straight at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, it's like that sort of final realization that something is there.
Yeah, and the fact that the POV sort of moves out, it's like, oh God, it's chasing him. Yeah. This scene here was actually shot almost a month after though. So even though it's like taking him seconds to just go around the corner, it was actually about a month later when we added it on. There's a really funny outtake here while I'm doing that, and I look at the camera with that really dodgy face like, that was really funny.
Yeah, that's actually right behind my house.
Yeah, it's just around the corner. Originally it was going to be like the wall next to your house, but this bit was better because it was less public, so no people getting in the way.
Yeah.
And it was just a bit more secluded, I guess, like he actually was hiding. This is the local common we live near, which is like a massive park and foresty area.
Yeah.
Which is like, and it has a really good graveyard as well, so it's just like,
it's
like my own studio basically.
We did toy with the idea of having the ghost appear somewhere in the graveyard, but on top of everything else, it probably would have been a bit contrived.
Yeah, and also, if he saw it there, would he really sit down now? And
Yeah,
go on his phone?
he would leave straight away. Yeah.
And I just couldn't be. There was no point making another chase sequence. Yeah. But I love those background bits there. Like you can see a few gravestones and a long stretch of forest there.
Yeah.
And it just makes you look there like, oh, is something there?
Yeah, it's that uncertainty.
Yeah.
You don't know what to expect, so you're thinking, oh, I better check the background to make sure there's nothing there.
Yeah. It's just really.
It keeps you on edge. It's, it's really effective.
I think it's killed him. It's taken his family as well. There was no sign.
What I like about this conversation is, Mike, who he's talking to, doesn't immediately believe him and, decide to help him.
Yeah, and never actually really seems to sort of say, right, I believe you, we must go and stop him. Yeah, it's just like, what are you on about? Yeah.
And that's realistic, and also it keeps him on his own.
Just call the police and tell them some evil demons on the way. What are you talking about? We're gonna have to go to David's house a bit, okay? Maybe a few nights, that's all.
Like you sort of get the idea Mike is worried because he's sort of being a bit panicky and upfront about.
It's not a bloody joke,
but
Mike.
You never get the essence that he believes him.
Yeah.
So he's on his own.
So I think that really wouldn't have worked because having another character around would have been bad for
we
the
didn't have another
atmosphere.
actor.
Yeah.
Whilst Matthew, my brother, did good in the voice acting, I'm not having him act. Yeah.
We need to find out what happened to him.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan at this stage of using too many actors in my films, and it's not because if I grew up and made bigger films, I don't like actors, but it's just at this age, and I guess not what my friends are like, but I guess the difficulties of them all living in different places.
Yeah.
And just sometimes I don't like horror films with a lot of dumbass teenage characters that get killed off one by one.
And also, we don't know anyone that takes drama at college.
Yeah.
So it would be difficult finding someone that we'd be comfortable working with this closely.
I don't like to brag. I'm not saying I'm the best actor in the world, but I did drama at school and I was pretty good apparently, and I enjoy it. And a lot of people I know may be able to act, but I take it very seriously, I guess. I do my best, but a lot of people just won't be very good.
Yeah, and also you know what you want from the character and from
exactly.
the scene, so you know who better.
Exactly. And I just think it's easier with me and you in that because I guess we share the same ideas. A lot of people just...
Yeah.
If I had a lot of actors, I would have to make it clear that whilst I appreciate input, I don't want them enforcing changes to the script. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when it comes down to it, you wrote the script, you know what you want to do.
Yeah.
It's not quite a dictatorship, you know. It's not
It's
suggest
ordering
everyone
ideas.
around. But yeah, there's some ideas in there that I've suggested.
But you know, I just wouldn't like a group effort. That's also why at media studies at college and that I'm not a fan of group work. I guess I'm just not I like to. If I am a fan of group work, I like to direct it all, and have my input in everything. Not say, right, I'll just leave it up to you to write the script whilst I go away, and then when the script's finished, I won't even look at it, but I'll just film it. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I don't like the sort of, you know, it was a problem in GCSE drama. There's a sense I don't like the confrontation you have when people have different ideas to you.
Yeah.
And sometimes they just point blank refuse to use anything you come up with.
Yeah.
And I really don't like that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this scene, a lot of people thought it was a bit unbelievable that he goes here. But I learned this in media studies, and I guess it's common sense anyway. But with horror films, you have to really make the character have an almost stupid sense of curiosity, so that they will walk into isolated, dangerous situations. Because that's just how horror works, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, if he turned around, went home, and never set foot in the house again,
Credits roll,
we'd have no story.
The film's over. And yeah, it's a film, yeah?
Yeah,
And
I
I
mean,
guess there is that tiny realistic element to it, that he wants to know what happened to his best mate. He wants to try and see what's going on. He's not quite positive about the supernatural thing, because although, yeah, he may say it, but he's sometimes when it's just that sudden, you can't be that sure, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you see it in a lot of films. People, right up to the end, characters will try and rationalise what they've seen.
Yeah, exactly.
They refuse to admit things.
Exactly. And obviously, my main inspiration, The Woman in Black, Arthur Kipps in that film is always going on about, like, he sees the woman on the marsh. She appears out of nowhere. You know, she looks like a ghost. She walks towards him, and he's terrified, runs for it, and then she's gone. And he tries to rationalise it by saying, I don't believe in ghosts. She looked real.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, if you're going to go that far and pick holes in it to the extent of, oh, you know, he would go home, he wouldn't go back in there, I wouldn't do that.
Exactly.
Then, you know, you're kind of taking the fun out of it.
Exactly.
I mean,
And
you need to suspend belief for a lot of films.
Exactly. You just, like, every film, even if it claims to be the most realistic, unless it's like a social realist film, which even then might not be entirely realistic, they always have some sort of drama to it, to have a sort of story, I guess.
I mean, yeah, you need those things to, you know, carry the plot onward and, you know...
Yeah. I think this shot's quite good, unintentionally, because he stands there and you think something's going to pop up at the window. And that wasn't intentional, we just sort of framed it normally. But it works quite a bit. You think something's going to lash out and nothing does.
Yeah. And we use a lot of that, I think. You know, wider shots, where you have the character off to one side, and you get a view of the background behind him, just now where it was the garden.
Exactly, and you saw the windows for the, is it your living room?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it really works, I think. Yeah, and him looking out the window there is pretty cool, because it's sort of like, where he's sort of peering up as well, and he can't see quite well. We did that with the camera, where you can't see entirely, there's all those bushes in the way.
Yeah.
But you can see there's nothing there, and it's just a lot creepier. It's like, oh, where's it gone? And then the knocking. Originally, in the next night scene, when Joseph hears the knocking at the door just behind him there, and he just goes back into the room, originally he was going to do something like this, walk towards it, but as this is the second time it's happened now, and this is the last time I want it to happen, I think we just sort of left it here. Enough of him walking towards doors, yeah?
Yeah.
It's like a tour of your house, like you said, just like panning shots of
everyone's rooms.
Like this is your parents' room, and a nice portrait of your sister there, which is quite out of place but funny.
When I arrived at
the lighting here is really good, I think. I mean, yeah, there's a bit of glare there, but for what we had, I think, just your lamp there, it works really well. It's very dark.
It kind of creates that sense of he's safe where the light is, but it's this tiny light. There's a small bubble where he can safely be, and the rest of the house is full of darkness.
Exactly. Whereas if it was a nice bedroom light, it would look like your room in the evening.
Yeah, I mean,
you turn your light on.
My main light in my room is a bit harsh, and it would kill the atmosphere completely, I think.
Yeah, but that one's just, and it creates this very pale light. Like you can barely see him when he's sitting there.
Yeah.
And everything around him's just black.
Yeah, it lengthens all the shadows, and everything gets a bit darker.
Yeah. find the letters here. I think this bit's pretty good. It's very difficult to, because they were written, the notes were written on in biro and just sort of scribbled over and over to get a really thick lay. But it was quite hard to see the writing still.
Yeah.
So we had to have Joseph like reading it and do really big close-up shots.
Yeah. It's not too bad, you know, it still works.
Yeah, you can still see it.
Yeah.
And also, he doesn't talk like Tupac. You can still hear what he's saying.
Yeah.
Like, you can read that one quite easily.
Yeah.
Give it back.
You get the idea that then, you know, it's not something nice he's reading.
Yeah, exactly. And this bit works as well. Like, coming for you. But then the David bit, you can read that really easily, so I think that's good. Him not reading it works a lot better, yeah?
Yeah.
It just announces it to the audience visually, like, oh shit, yeah? Rather than him reading it like, oh look, David, yeah?
Yeah. Now he's realised that, you know, what happened to David wasn't a cruel accident. You know,
exactly.
something has gone after him.
Exactly.
And that's quite scary as well, you know, this ghost thing, it has a purpose now.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
it's... But yeah. I think Joseph's one brave guy. I would not set foot back in that house.
I'd be gone, like, by the first scene, I think.
Yeah, I mean...
You get quite a creepy view from your bedroom as well, because you can just see the long, dark street at night.
Yeah.
And obviously at night where there's no one out, it's just really quiet, deserted. It's just quite creepy. I think this bit is brilliant. It's obviously inspired by a bit in the new Woman in Black film. And it pretty much directly rips off it. Even the music's the same, but I just thought it works really well. And one original shot we did was this one now, the shadow there.
Passing across.
Because the lighting from your little light in the corner just lit up the whole room, so all the shadows are like thrown along the walls.
Yeah.
And this bit as well, actually, yeah, we had the idea reflecting in the window, and that just worked perfectly.
Yeah.
But I thought, oh, the lighting on the camera's not going to pick it up properly.
Yeah.
But you can see it. Like, you
Yeah.
have to focus a little bit, but you can see the thing moving.
Yeah,
in the
it's
background.
like the bit with the when he opens up the attic. You don't see it clearly, but you see the movement.
Yeah, and you think,
that's that's really quite scary.
that's enough to sort of confirm it. Obviously now he hears the knocking. So yeah, like I said, originally he was going to walk over to this door here and sort of investigate,
Yeah.
look into the room, but we just thought, you know what, enough of walking toward doors, yeah?
Yeah, and I think you've got to be careful that you don't reach the point where your character has become so scared that it turns into anger, and they just think, right, I'm going to confront whatever it is. They need to still be scared. You need to keep it changing.
Exactly.
Because if it was the same thing, I think he would just get fed up and just attempt to barge down the door.
Yeah.
Like the scene in The Woman in Black where he takes the axe and tries to go through the door. Is it an axe?
Hatchet or something.
Hatchet, something like that. But yeah, you can see that his fear has now turned into this sort of angry determination.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not something you want to have until much later.
Like when he starts really getting stressed by it.
Yeah.
Like in The Old Woman in Black, he hears the pony and trap noise, and by the third time he hears it, he like slams the door and he's like pounding it, like stop it, screaming it like that.
Yeah.
And you would eventually just mentally, but you get the idea that he's not angry with the ghost on a mutual level, not like, oh, you're pissing me off, cut it out.
Yeah.
It's like he's terrified angry, yeah? It's torturing him, yeah? And then what I like about this is that he goes into the room now,
Yeah.
and that gives you the idea it's daylight now, yeah?
Yeah.
He'll only do it in the day because that's when he's safe.
Yeah, that's the sort of safety.
Obviously, there's nothing really horror conventional about that room because it's your sister's room, so there's a lot of posters there.
Yeah, painted in purple.
We sort of leaned to the side a bit with that frame because a new poster was put up on the side, which wasn't in the previous shots.
Yeah.
So we had to sort of avoid showing
I think
it.
the posters in my room move around a little bit as well.
Yeah, but not to the point. Well, no one really noticed.
Yeah, no one mentioned anything.
There's quite a few changes actually. You see some posters and duvet, and the duvet move in my room and your room actually. It changes from the sort of bluish one with the moon and stars on it to just the black one.
Yeah.
Obviously, Joseph clothes changing is common sense that he just bought a spare lot.
Yeah.
I didn't really pick the best clothes though, seeing as we were shooting the latter half in the summer, in spring, summer.
Yeah.
And I chose like all black. Not really a good idea.
No.
Yeah, these bits here, you get the idea that these were more notes he found. And they were just the same ones from the last scene, we just ripped them up. So obviously we had to make sure we didn't need them again.
Yeah.
But yeah, originally this part, he was going to go into this room, find it ransacked, and find a photo of David with the necklace, and like have it slashed. And even in the original script, there was the ghost in the background. And whilst it seemed creepy, eventually it just felt too contrived. Like, why would he have a photo of him with the necklace? Like, we tried putting it around you and you look like a twat, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I would wear.
Yeah, and also, where it was a really small necklace, it just literally just coiled around your neck. It didn't dangle or anything.
And, you know, we couldn't hang it out of a pocket without it looking completely placed.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm just going to put it here so that they can see it, yeah?
Yeah.
It was just really... And we tried putting the phone, it didn't. And then, when we couldn't, we sort of pondered a bit what to do. And then literally on the spot, both came up with the idea of that as a counterfeit.
Yeah.
Room was ransacked, notes everywhere. Like he's tried to give the ghost a counterfeit instead of the real one due to the addiction. And that just further humiliates and angers the ghost, I guess.
Yeah.
And you get the idea here, like, oh, there's another one. Is it the same one? But then it's not whispering.
Yeah.
And he has, like he says later, he has no inclination to keep it.
Yeah, he immediately knows, you know,
It's a
what
fake.
David tried to do.
So yeah, this bit works quite well. And also that room, what room is that of your house? Is that just
That's the
back
front
room?
room.
Yeah, and also that room, you don't use it an awful lot, do you? It's just like storage area.
it's
So
funny.
we could easily make it look like...
Today I had
Yeah, everyone's a little bit confused by it because it's at the front of the house, but it's not a lounge.
Yeah.
There were torn pieces of notes.
If you looked at the computer there when he was typing, you could actually see the Wikipedia page for The Amazing Spider-Man. You could see the poster there of Spider-Man there, so that was quite funny.
Did we get a little bit of criticism about using laptop scenes?
Yeah, we
quite a
did,
lot?
from a friend of ours, actually, Michael Parr.
Yeah.
So, you know, if he's watching this, I've just been here. No, I'm all for constructive criticism. I don't like the idea of getting constructive criticism and then bitching about it. Defending it is fine, but when people get constructive, like, feedback and then just whine about how the person's wrong and that, I think that's...
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a fair point.
That's not professional or mature, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Unless it's ridiculous, like they say, oh, I don't know, just something stupid, yeah?
Yeah. You know, it was a fair, constructive point. It's not something we're going to get angry about.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this bit here is just a clock in that room. What clock is it? It's not. It's just a little like old.
Just
one,
a little antique kind of clock. I mean, you can tell from the tolling it's quite old. It's It's not an alarm
when
clock.
we
or
were
anything.
like planning this scene, we mucked about with it a bit, and Nathan put the tolling on. I was just like, that sounds really creepy. We're having it, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's no relevance to it, really. The ghost isn't tied to it. The necklace doesn't come from the clock or anything.
Yeah.
It's just
one of those
it's
things.
just creepy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess, where it's a very... The noises like that just scare me, I guess. Like grandfather
Yeah.
clocks.
It's
Like, you might just think, oh, look, it's 6 o'clock. But it actually scares me. Just
Yeah,
the noise they make.
It's breaking the silence as well, and also you can hear it everywhere in the house.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we don't actually use the clock because that would drive me up the wall.
Yeah. And that would probably scare me as well, actually. Like, if
Yeah.
it was really late at night and that just went off out of nowhere. When
Oh,
you're, like, alone
I'd
in
be
the house.
terrified.
Yeah. Like, just from downstairs. Very muffled and quiet. Just
Yeah.
like, oh. Yeah, originally these were found on David's phone.
But yeah,
Yeah, originally they were found on his phone, but we just thought it would be better, like, instead of going, oh, look, a phone, yeah?
yeah,
So, conveniently has an SD card reader and everything.
yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't actually use the SD card reader. It didn't work with my computer for some reason, so we just sort of made up folders quick, named them based after and that.
Yeah.
And that recording, it is what you hear. What you hear, the sort of David talking. That recording you see in Audacity is it, but it's not playing. If that makes sense. Like, you see it playing here, but but the computer's actually muted, and the sound is dubbed over.
All right.
Because obviously when it's dubbed over, it sounds a lot better. If it comes from the camera, the audio is just not very good.
Oh yeah.
So, what the audio file you're seeing that's playing is the file you're hearing, but you're hearing it differently. So
Yeah.
I have difficulty explaining it. It's very simple, but
Yeah.
Dubbing
You're
it
not
over.
hearing it play from the laptop.
yeah, you're hearing it dubbed over.
Yeah. I think the important thing is with the audio files is not, for me, was not to make it sound too forced.
Yeah.
If I was panicking and, going completely over the top with it, it
Yeah.
would have sounded terrible.
It'd be like Blair Witch, not like, like they're running from something and they're documenting it on a camera.
Yeah.
And at the end, they're like panicking as they're running and doing it.
Yeah.
But in this case, you're not running for anything, you're just getting more scared, yeah?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
This bit works well. I think it's like the David bit with the previous letters where it just says David and doesn't have Joseph read it.
Yeah.
Because it's more like visually addressing it to the audience in a sudden way and not having Joseph say, "Oh look, the ghost took him." Yeah, he might as well just like look at the camera and say,
Yeah, exactly.
"This is a bit of prolonged pause." I did try and actually cut this short, but because of my breathing and obviously shifting a bit, you can see Joseph sort of jerk into a new position, so it didn't work.
Apparently I work at Starfleet.
And that's your profile picture when you went to a party earlier this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just have.
Yeah, ages ago.
Yeah. That used to be my phone background for about 3 months. That Spider-Man one. It is now a Dark Knight one, just with the Batman logo.
The things you learn.
Yeah. Great bit of trivia.
Yeah.
This bit was just brilliant. This scene is just, I think, the best bit in the film. The most fun to film.
Yes. Oh, we had such fun with this. Yeah. And it was actually, by the time we were finished, it was about 2 a.m. So, it's kind of real time.
We had to wait for Nathan's mum and his sister to go to bed, so we had like the downstairs area to ourselves.
And we had a nice little adventure disconnecting all the fire alarms, so we didn't wake everyone up with that when we were lighting the matches.
And we used a lot of matches as well. I think my mum bought me a pack of, I don't know how many.
Quite a few.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, we used at least a quarter.
And we used
about a third of the matches, I think.
It was about 80 to 100, yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously there were a lot of outtakes where we fucked up. There were some shots before we started where we were testing what it looked like.
Yeah. Oh, this is creepy though.
Yeah.
All
the lights going out.
Like one by one, and then you realise, oh no, his light's going to be next. Like that.
We got a point from Michael Parr as well, actually, saying why in the previous scene where Joseph was packing to go to the house.
Yeah, he picks up a torch.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, we did not think of that,
but matches is creepier. Yeah, the torch is just not as scary, and also the torch is going to create shitloads of glare.
Yeah, also it was really quite weak as well.
And my film studies teacher pointed this out, and it's similar to Shutter Island and quite a few films like this, I guess. And this is obviously what we're going for, where you have to constantly relight it, and there's like the fear of your match slowly going out, constant relighting it. It's more dreading, I guess, like relight, and not just my torch is on, I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, the torch could be kind of scary. It's only got a beam in one direction.
Yeah, exactly.
But the match, it's, brilliant.
It just makes it more tense, I think.
Yeah, because you think, oh my god, what? First you think, oh no, the match is going out, and then you think, what's going to be behind him when he lights it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think the thing that really works well is that you can barely see him when it's like his now.
Yeah.
But a lot of time you can just see a trailing bit of light.
Yeah.
So but also when he lights it, obviously, like you see now, right? There's that really big glow for like half a second, and something, as it does in a minute, will appear
as you'll see,
him.
we make perfect use of that, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, this was
There's
so much fun to film. I got chills just filming this.
Yeah, it actually scared us a bit filming this bit, because obviously, like I said, it was really quiet, 2 a.m. We had to be very quiet as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously Nathan's mum and sister were asleep.
Yeah.
So
this was just so much. I really enjoyed this.
This bit is really scary. I don't think we'll talk during this bit because it's just...
Yeah.
This actually scared the shit out of a lot of people who watched it. Like, proper made them piss themselves. Oh my god. What, this bit here, you see it against there. And what's really good is that red light is actually really creepy.
Yeah.
And what it is it's just, obviously, your front door window, and there's just a street light
Yeah,
outside,
it's just the street light out the front, and obviously it's all distorted from the front window, and that there was
where you see the ghost. Originally, my film studies teacher, it was I guess this exemplifies how good it is. He thought it was CGI, like we had CGI'd it.
Really?
Yeah, he thought we'd like used Adobe After Effects design to sort of post you in. And I was like, no, none of it is CGI.
Behind you, yeah.
Literally, obviously, it took a few tries to get you in the right position.
But once we nailed it, I mean, the effect.
It just came out brilliant. Yeah, I was just like, a lot of the time when you make a film, you envision something how you want it, and it doesn't quite turn out that way.
Yeah.
But you're still happy anyway.
Yeah.
But with that, it was just like, that is perfect.
I know.
Yeah?
I mean,
that is exactly how it should be.
We looked back over the shot, and it was perfect. You know.
Once you got in the right position, it was just flawless. Originally, what it was going to be though was it was Joseph was going to go into that room where the ghost was, and he'd see it standing quite tall, facing away from him.
Yeah.
It was originally going to be your front room as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, your lounge. Sorry, your lounge. It was originally going to be in there.
Yeah, we were going to have him hear noises and go in there, didn't we?
Yeah, and it would turn around, chase him. He'd shut the door, and it would like try and get out.
Yeah.
And I guess your other room worked better because we couldn't actually shut your lounge door.
No, there's something wrong. It rubs against the carpet. Or
It doesn't
something,
shut fully, basically, so it wouldn't have worked, and we could have damaged the door by forcing it. So, and the other room works better in it because also it's the room where it was all smashed, so the ghost is more associated with it.
Yeah.
And we couldn't show it standing there before Joseph saw it because it was all pitch black. We just couldn't see it. Yeah. And this works even better though because it literally, well, if it's standing there, it's still that creepiness of it right there. And it makes you jump. It would make you jump when it lashed out. But here, it just comes right out of nowhere. Yeah? Like literally launches out of the darkness right at him.
Give it back today and then leave this house.
And it's the sort of it's like a triple hit. First you've got the scream where it lunges out of him in the front room. Then you see it
following him
in that eerie red light from the streetlight outside.
So you think, Christ, it's chasing him.
And then he gets to the landing, lights the match, and it's just stood there behind him. Yeah. It's not attacking him. It's not going for him. It's not got a scary face on. It's just stood there
and looking at him like.
Yeah.
And he's just blissfully unaware of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like and then you sort of get the idea that he didn't see it, but maybe he felt it, like it touched him, or he just felt a cold presence behind him because he turns around with that sort of.
Yeah, I think the original plan was for it to reach for his shoulder.
Yeah.
But the light wasn't good enough and we couldn't quite catch it.
Yeah, you had to like walk up behind me and just reach for my shoulder. Yeah. And it just didn't work.
We couldn't catch it with the. Oh.
That bit was really good. Originally, the tripod was going to be positioned out on the street and I'd walk past it, but we couldn't, because obviously it was only me and you, we couldn't really film it very well.
Yeah.
What that was is just me walking past that brick wall, going around behind the camera and just panning it up myself to reveal you. And it just came out looking really good. And this bit as well. That is just brilliant. The way the bathroom window there sort of distorts you a bit as well because of the pattern. Just looks, even up close, I think it's still pretty freaky. It's just like, oh god. And like you said, it's not doing a scary face, it's not pounding the windows, it's not roaring at him, it's just staring at him.
Stood there watching. It's one of those creepy things.
Yeah. Well done, Joseph. You picked the perfect place to hide, yeah?
Yeah.
Nah, you get the idea here now. He's just running. He has no idea where he's going. He's not trying to go. It's chasing him. Yeah?
Blind panic, yeah. This was another sort of fun excursion, walking from Andrew's house to the common with corpse makeup on.
Yeah.
We did get a few funny looks.
Yeah, quite a lot. And that caught a lot of people off guard, and there you go. A lot of people thought with that bit, what really worked is that it blended with the tree trunk, which was unintentional, but really good.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people didn't realise until it was moving that there was someone, that the demon was stood there.
I won't be arrogant and say that was intentional, because it wasn't. The idea was that you would see it and go, oh Christ, it's there, and then it would attack. Yeah. And you'd know before Joseph, but no one knew, because no one could see it.
Yeah.
Mostly just me and Nathan's name.
Yeah, that's quite fun.
That really out of place with that Amelia Beecham. She's my cousin who did the makeup. Very good job, actually.
Yeah, very well done, yeah.
Yeah.
Royalty-free music.
It's not actually called royalty-free music, the website. It's called Incompetech. I made a bit of a mistake there. But it is royalty-free music, basically. Yeah, filmed at Shirley Brockner's Totton Railway. Totton Railway Station was only the scene where the train shot past through the station in the first bit. So I only went there once, and I was waiting there for about an hour for the train to go past.
Well, the rail card works, across, so it didn't cost anything. It wasn't an extra effort or anything.
Exactly. Well, thank you for watching, and see you soon.
Yeah.